Today's Tips du Jour mailbag question comes to us from Louisiana. Robert, help! I dropped my guitar. Is it repairable? Doug in Louisiana. Well, Doug, I like to think that most anything is repairable. In fact, I tell my clients that we can fix just about anything except a broken heart. Now that sometimes also is repairable, it just takes a little bit longer. Now there are a few things to consider. You haven't sent me a picture, so I have no idea what we're dealing with here. Dropped instrument usually means cracks, binding, back, top, separated, things like that. A few things to consider. First of all, is the instrument even worth repairing? A lot of times the price of the repair will exceed the value of the instrument. Now that's a judgment call that you need to make with the person that's going to do the repair. If you decide to move forward, a couple of steps. One, the structural element, putting things back together. Two, the cosmetic element, in other words, the finish. And you need to decide if you want to address one or both. Now, I have a guitar on my bench that came in that somebody had dropped, and I'm going to repair it. Perhaps you can pick up a tip or two as I repair it. This is a Spanish guitar, classical. It came from a maker in Granada, pretty well known, pretty high end, Brazilian rosewood as well. It came in recently with some delamination here on the back side. And upon further inspection, to me, it looks like the instrument was dropped. The binding is cracked, the purfling is cracked, the back has separated from the kerfing on the inside, and the lower bout of the side here has actually moved in slightly. So if I put everything back into place, it's a clean break, everything can be fixed, but it's not quite flush. So let's just see if we can get down inside the sound hole here. Usually what I do is when I'm doing this type of method, is I'll put it into position and I'll just keep turning that wing nut to start expanding it until I hear a crack. And then I back off about a quarter turn. No, folks, I'm kidding. You don't want to do that. All right, so here we go. You feeling lucky today, huh? Let's do it. And come in with my injector device here. Just keep working that back apart like that and let the glue just kind of run down in there. Now, I'm going to pop that binding back into place. So being very careful not to break it. Just going to push it right back into place there. Looks like that's done the job. And let's put a little moisture on our paper towel. Clean this up. So I think we can take this little purfling line right here and very carefully get up under it. Just get us a little shot of glue under there. There we go. Push it back into place. And then come in and just wipe off your excess. So I'm just going to take a piece of binding tape. What I like to do is take my binding tape, just roll a little fold over so I can easily get it off later. And we need to push the back down onto that kerfing. So I'm just going to put it on there like that, making sure I'm pulling up the binding. I'm going to push it down and just let the tape do the work. And it looks like this one is going to be a 4-piece of tape repair. Sometimes you use a lot more, but I think that's going to be just right. One of my favorite tools in my whole shop is just these little utility knives. They work great for cutting. They also work great for scraping. And you can just use the tip to come in and just concentrate on an area. What I'm trying to do is favor where that purfling meets the binding there. Rather than scraping the whole binding, I just want to scrape this area here because you run the risk of getting it too thin. And there's already a little thinness going on in this one binding here. I'm going to start sanding very lightly with some 320. And I like to use these little erasers. They work great as backing pads. Now this is a French polish finish, so it ought to touch up fairly easily. However, you need to be careful with French polish finishes. Sometimes they have some color in them. So I've been working on and off on the French polish here over the last couple days. Just 5 minutes here, 10 minutes there. Just trying to get a little build up here over the repair spot. And it's starting to look pretty good. Nice and shiny, no pores showing through. And it's just the way I like it. We didn't even have to take the strings off. So Doug in Louisiana, thank you very much for your question. I hope you found this useful, and if you decide to move forward, perhaps you can use a tip or two that you learned here. Happy building.